Thank you again! What's up everybody? Welcome to today's video. We have the gym finished. It is all built up, ready to go. All the equipment that we wanted is in-house. So I'm gonna take you guys through that, why I chose some of the pieces that we have to be brought in, some things that we're going to be investing in, and some things we don't want to choose, as well as plans for this area. So let's get into it. So like I said, I am going to show you guys some of the things that my team invested on to make sure that we can bring as much content and entertainment to you guys as possible. We're very thankful that we got the gym built up. So now I kind of want to explain why we invested into some pieces of equipment and what I also suggest for you guys to get for your own space, and some modifications too if you don't have a lot of space to put these things in, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is our stands. I think you should definitely consider getting a stand, some type of stand variation. Now, thankfully we have the space to have a rogue rack here. Got it mounted on the wall, got it braced up. We overcame the dirt invasion, and as well as handled some other mechanical messes. Now, before we even had this one built up, we had our DIY stand-ups. We were using that for our bench pressing, rack pulls, our squats, overhead presses, just the key compounds that I think everyone should always do when it comes down to the overall health. So look into getting some sort of stand or some rack, or just make one yourself. The DIY stand-ups cost like 30 bucks, and it was super cheap to do. You just gotta take your time. It's a lot of labor into it. Whereas with this guy, it's just a couple clicks and you can buy it, but it's a couple $1,000s. So just keep that in mind when you're looking into investing into your big piece, but just know that this will stick around for a long time. Next, I want to get into the next piece of equipment we bought following the rack was the barbell. Now, the straight classic barbell is something that most people should get. And I say it that way because unless you are training for a specific movement or has some type of medical, physiological difference within your skeletal system, you should consider other bars, or if you have an injury and things like that. I won't get into that too much, but there are a lot of bars out there is kind of what I'm getting at. And just going for a classic straight barbell, you can do everything that you want to do with it. And you can kind of get lost in the specificities of things, but just don't worry about it. Just get yourself a straight barbell. Speaking of barbells, the next thing we actually got was an easy curl bar. So this guy obviously used for biceps, triceps, any type of row. It's really easy on the wrist. That's one of the reasons why we bought this. It's just a very classic piece of equipment that you can use for hundreds of different exercises. Same thing with the straight barbell. So these are the two bars I recommend you guys getting for your home gym or your unit, whatever it is that you're building at, just to start off with, because then you got all your bases covered when it comes down to plates. So speaking of plates, I have two suggestions. One, buy them over time. If you buy these plates here over time and feel it will be less stressful on yourself and your wallet. But I also say it's kind of hard to come across these guys right now. And I will be honest, they are sometimes pretty, like right now, they're pretty expensive. Some places I've seen they're running even over $1 per pound. So you can range from anywhere from $45 to $55 for just one 45-pound plate. So the second thing I would recommend you to do is making your own plates. So several friends of mine have figured out a way, and it's all over YouTube and Google. You guys can find this yourself, just making your own DIY plates. Anywhere from 10 pounds, 25 pounds, 45 pounds, 50 pounds if you really wanted to, for dirt cheap. Just know that you're gonna have to go through a longer process and it's more labor, but you will have them and you won't have to spend as like a couple $100. You'll just spend like maybe 30 to 40 bucks. and still have materials left over. So the next thing that we get into is investing into some type of dumbbell variation. Now I have two kinds that I can suggest to you guys. One, if you want to save space, like if you're in a smaller environment, I suggest you guys getting these power blocks or something similar to it. These guys here can go up to 90 pounds. You simply just pull this guy out and slide it back into whatever spot you want to go into, and then you can lift it up. You can do all the work you want. If you have a little bit more space, then you can get a dumbbell set that we have already loaded up. And of course, just buy that stuff over time. Places to buy that all over the internet. Like I said just before with the plates, Craigslist, OfferUp, eBay. You can go to your local fitness store and see if they have anything there. That being said, they are semi-hard to come by during this time period, so just do the best you can. I'm sure there's a DIY out there. I haven't took the time to look into that, but I'm sure there is. Now, the next thing I would suggest you guys getting for your home space is this classic teenage boy dream of getting an own home pull-up bar. The cool thing about this, of course, as we know, it can go anywhere in any doorway, but you can also use it for different type of calisthenics or calisthenic movements. And if you want to get a little bit even more specific, just different push-up variations, tricep variations. Keep this in mind for all your pieces of equipment. Things can be used more than what they're made to. You can make it into any specialized pieces you can. So just be creative with all your pieces of equipment, okay? So we have this here. We also have a bar that hangs across our ceiling that we installed for another pull-up variation too as well. So there's some things that we learned after just bringing stuff in that we needed to get is two things that are gonna help us make things a little bit more comfortable around here, and it's buying floor mats and buying a weight tree. So the floor mats not only save your ground, but they also it just feels comfortable to walk on, and especially walking on top of concrete, it gets to you after some time. But also for better organization, I suggest you guys buying a weight tree. You can either purchase one, or you can make it yourself out of wood. I've done both. Now, the thing that I found that was most easiest is that when I made one, it was convenient for the plates that I had at the time, but as I accumulated more, it actually made me feel like the tree was gonna break eventually. So that's when we invested into a weight tree. It holds everything together, completely comfortable, and I don't have to go looking for anything. So that's another like side tip. Be as organized as possible with your space, because it's just gonna make your lifting environment so much more better, I promise you. Now, if you all have the space, I suggest you buy some sort of cardio piece. For example, we have the assault bike here. It's an intense piece of equipment, and it can be extremely expensive. Now, here's the thing. We got this guy for 50 bucks because someone just didn't want it in their closet anymore. This stuff happens all the time to cardio pieces. Ellipticals, treadmills, stationary bikes. Stuff like this is totally doable and easy to find if you just kind of keep your eyes open a little bit. But that also being said, a simple jump rope or going out for a jog, but if it's cold like it is today in the Northwest, you know, something like this or the jump rope would heat you up a lot more faster without having to be out in the streets. The ab roller. Now, even though it is made to specifically attack your abs to allow them to grow and to get stronger, you can do a full body workout with an ab roller, and it doesn't take up a lot of room at all. You see tons of people have these, and they're super affordable too as well. You can make your own. I've never made my own, but I've seen people do it. But this is something I'll suggest you guys getting. Last but not least, just getting some general safety equipment for you and your household is always going to be a good idea. We have belts, belt variations, we have wrist wraps, straps, chalk, all these things that you can find online at your local store or your like sports store, all super affordable. Now, there are a bunch of different variations of everything, so I just suggest you just going out there and seeing what fits, you know, and what feels good and what some of your friends might recommend themselves, and start there. Just because it can, just like the barbells, can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. I almost forgot to mention to tell all of you that you need to get some clips. This will save you from putting a hole in your wall at home, okay? These will save your life. It doesn't even have to be these clips in particular. It can be anything. I've even seen people use clamps, like jumbo cable clips and everything too. Whatever keeps the plates from moving. Now, they won't just go willy-nilly all the time, but safety first, especially when you're in your own home, okay? All right, you guys, that's it. Thank you so much for coming along this 3-part mini series of building your own garage gym. I really appreciate all the support and all the views and everything and all the sharing that you guys are doing. In the comments below, let me know what next piece of equipment you think I should invest in to bring into this area that you would like me to work on, or what's some of your favorite pieces of equipment and why you use them, okay? Be on the lookout for the next series coming up. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hold on. So out of breath. 3, 2, 1. You we get it. You're driving. God. So it's such a good take. Here we go. Mixed concrete and some rhubarb and everything else in there. Rhubarb.
Rhubarb, yeah.
Yeah, it's rhubarb.
No, rebar.
Rebarb, right?
Yeah.
Rhubarb's food. Rebarb.